Hey guys, welcome back to Golf Training Hacks. You know, we all know that balance is really important for golf, so you really should have good balance. You don't have to be really good on a wobble board, though, to have good balance. You should check out if you can stand on one leg and see how long you can stand on one leg. Also, there are issues in your golf swing that may indicate that you don't have good balance. Do you get caught in that reverse C? Maybe your hips glide one way or the other. So if that's the case, it may be a balance issue. And we have things in Golf Training Hacks that can help you with that. You know, a lot of problems with the golf swing can be traced back to your spinal position. You need to keep a neutral, stable spine throughout your swing to be able to get back to the impact point with any consistency. But in the case of a reverse C, what's happening is your spine angles are changing. So in a reverse C, your hip is gliding over your rear foot, and that shouldn't be happening. Your rear leg should be driving into the ground with your hip extending backwards, not gliding laterally. Because you want to keep that addressed spine angle, which is a little bit of a tilt away from the target. As this foot drives into the ground, this spine angle doesn't change. It actually doesn't change. It shouldn't change until you get to impact, where it's tilted a little bit further away from the target. When you have a reverse C caused by that hip glide, this hip glides outside your foot instead of driving back, and as this hip glides outside your foot, your spine angle changes, and now it's going towards the target instead of staying away from the target. Now that adds a lot of variability to your swing. It's tough enough to get back to the impact point, but when your spine angle is changing throughout your swing, that makes it really difficult. So what do you need to help stop that hip from gliding out over the rear foot? Well, you need some hip strength and some hip mobility. In this video, we're going to show you 3 exercises that are going to help you improve your hip strength so you can begin to stop that reverse C and that lateral hip glide. So let's get started. So when we're swinging a golf club, we want some hip stability and hip strength because we don't want our hips getting out over our feet on either side. So a nice way to create some strength and some mobility in your hips is doing lateral lunges. And you've probably all seen a lateral lunge. Now the wider you get, the easier it is. You go to where you can. You know, don't have to get to any particular height. But what you do want to do is send your hips back. So a lateral lunge would look like this. Okay. Lateral lunge, lateral lunge. What it shouldn't look like is this. You don't want your knees going forward. Okay, so if I go from the side, a lateral lunge would be my hips are going backwards first. My hips are going backwards. So my shin is relatively vertical. I'm going backwards and down, right? Backwards, down. My hips are going back and down. And of course, you can do this with weight or without weight. A second, more advanced way to do a lateral lunge would be to do a lateral lunge into a step. So what you can do is lateral lunge. So you would lateral lunge. Let's say I'll go to this side this time. I'm going to lateral lunge here, then I come up to a step. Lateral lunge, come up to a step. Lateral lunge, step, lateral lunge, and a step. So now you're getting some movement, and you're also, when you're posting on this leg, you're getting some stability on this leg too, because now you are trying to resist that kind of movement. So when you come up, you're stable. So lateral lunge, and now I'm resisting all this movement here. Lateral lunge, and come up. The next way you could do it is you could take a dumbbell, and you could do it with a press. So you keep the dumbbell in the side that you away from the lunge arm. So I'm going this way. I want to keep it in this arm. So I'm going to lateral lunge, come up to a step and a press. Lateral lunge, come up to a step and a press. Lateral lunge, step and press. Now the more, you can do it like that, but the more you make the step and the press separate, the more stability you have. Lateral lunge, step, press, down. Lateral lunge, step, press, down. Lateral lunge, step, press, down. So the more you can stabilize on this hip, you know, the more things you can do from this position, the better off you're going to be. So there's 3 ways you can begin to stabilize and strengthen your hips so that your hips are not falling outside or gliding outside your feet when you swing a golf club.